Where to even start with this one? Shoot, that's a great question. Finally back, at least for the first day, on the cut that I had started a little over a month ago now. I should be on week 5 or 6. I'm really pretty much restarting. I did a check-in this morning. It's a Tuesday, even though it's not a Friday, just because I'm finally back here, at least where I was tracking everything on a consistent routine. So this is what I was looking like now after traveling for about 2.5 weeks, a week of which I was in a jail or a detainment center in Mexico, which I'll get into in a second. Yeah, so this video is really what I did there and kind of how I'm getting back to the cut. So let's get into it. A little bit of the backstory. I was out in San Diego with my girlfriend. We were going to see some of her family in a city not too far from Mexico City. So, it's far enough you gotta fly, even though we're right on the border. So we crossed the border into Tijuana, and then from Tijuana, flew down just outside of Mexico City, and then we were taking a bus to another adjacent city in the area. And because there's a lot of immigration traffic through that area, kind of in that southern Mexico region, we were stopped and we didn't have the correct paperwork to go with the passports, and I hadn't got my passport stamped because we had drove across the border, and they stopped us, took us off the bus, and it was like, okay, I figured we're gonna go to some kind of immigration center where maybe they hold us for a minute, fine us, check our paperwork because our passports are legit, and kind of sent us on our way. Turns out that's not what happened. We didn't end up leaving till the following Friday. So we spent a full 7 days, myself and my girlfriend, and we were in separate holding areas. Myself, I was with about 20 guys in maybe a 25, 30 foot by 25, 30 foot like cell with a bathroom, slept on floor mats. There's a couple toilets, a stall, a urinal, kind of all in one little room. And then at the first meal each day, we got 3 meals. So the first one was about 9:30. You could hear the meal truck beep at the entrance of the facility, and they would let us out. We'd get into this like courtyard that was a similar size, maybe 25 feet by 25 feet, with like a concrete picnic table in the middle. Yeah, that was meal 1, was usually scrambled eggs with a little bit of ham, maybe always corn tortillas, 3 or 4 corn tortillas, and then usually some kind of chopped fruit or something with some coffee. And then the following meals were probably every 4 or 5 hours, because we had 3 meals a day, and the rest would vary, man. I mean, I know my girlfriend remembers it. There was one that's it's like a veggie patty. I don't know what the hell was in it, but it was like a veggie patty with the tortillas and like chopped up cucumbers, and there were potatoes with, she said there was some kind of meat in the potatoes, but I swear there wasn't any meat in my potatoes. So anyway, I think you guys kind of get the general idea. No real control. And it was tough because we didn't know when we were going to go back. We only had 1 phone call a day, didn't have access to a lot of things, and she had it pretty rough in her I guess cell or holding area, if you want to call it. We're stronger for it at the end of the day. I don't want to necessarily complain about it, more so just paint a picture of the situation we were in. But as far as nutrition, I was probably eating maybe 50 grams of protein a day if I'm lucky, between the eggs and then the little bit of meat or ham that would be in the rest of the meals. Carbs were everywhere because you get rolls sometimes with the meals, so maybe 120, 150 grams of carbs. Yeah, fats were probably on the higher end. If I had to guess, maybe 60 to 80 to 90. And then I know my sodium was sky high because everything was salty. I did what I could. As far as the workout routine, I was like, all right, my biggest thing is just eat whatever food I can get. I'm gonna eat. If I can trade tortillas for extra protein, I tried to do that as much as I could with the other guys there. And then the training, I mean, I had nothing. I had a concrete picnic table. There were no bars I could hold on to. So, anything kind of pulling motion was out of the question. Most of my training was push-ups and crunches, really just to pass time. So on the days I'd push, which was every other day, I would do about 200 200 push-ups, just broken up into sets of 20. So 10 sets of 20 with kind of superset with 10 sets of 20 to 30 crunches. So 200 to 300 crunches. I do the push-ups and then immediately do the crunches, rest maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds, go back just to work up a sweat and kind of sweat out some of the salt and water that I was holding on to. And on the lower volume training days, if you will, I would do 100 push-ups, 100 crunches, which were really just the colder days there because I was so cold I didn't want to be outside training, sweating, and then having it kind of cool down on me too much where I was worried about getting sick. And then I trained legs once while I was in there. I just did a circuit of, I kind of did a whole leg workout. So I finished, I was real motivated because they had told us we had our flights potentially. So I was like, all right, maybe, this was Thursday. I was like, maybe we'll go home tomorrow. I did the 20 by 20 by 20. So 20 sets of 20 push-ups by 20 crunches. And then when I finished that, I did 2 wall sits. I counted out about a minute and a half for each one, just to really get some blood into my legs, and then did a static lunge, almost like a Bulgarian split squat, but without my foot elevated, and really focused on just squeezing and contracting with my quad, keeping my weight pushed forward. So all the tension was up in my quad, not in my glute. So I did that 4 sets, 15 and 15 each leg. And then I threw in some tricep dips, if you will, where I was against the bench with my feet out in front of me. I did about 4 sets of 20 with that. And then I finished with like a forward lunge. So I'd lunge forward, step back, lunge forward, step back. And I did, I want to say 3 or 4 sets of that for 20 reps each leg. And that got me pretty good because I hadn't really moved my lower body a lot. It was a lot of just sitting down, waiting, talking to the other guys, maybe playing some cards. Of course, I definitely, my Spanish has come a long way in 7 days. At the end of it, we're both grateful to be back here, knowing we're safe, knowing we have the important people in our lives that we can call family, who love us, care for us, and we're both very lucky people. So the next part of this series I recorded just before that trip to Mexico. It's a good ab session. I'll have that one. That's the ab workout that when I'm not in jail, I try to do every other day in the morning after my morning cardio. Looking forward to getting that one out, recording some more. I've got to move at the end of a week. It's been a while, but you just got to keep going. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video.